Good day, everyone. Very pleased to be joined yet again by Andrew Chubb, CEO of Awale Resources. I've had the good pleasure of knowing Andrew and working with Andrew, supporting him in any way we can here at Orecap and Or Group in his efforts. First, Andrew, congratulations! What an incredible month it's been. I know it's been a long time coming. It's what do they say? Like a multi-year overnight success. But the drill results on the Charger and frankly now the overlooked BBM and frankly the overlooked Empire and Scepter. Now that you had that just such a mind-blowing hole, I think I mean, in quoting the news release, you said one of the best drill holes you ever been associated with. So give me your perspective on these holes and what's it like for you now.
What's it like? Life certainly changed. It's been pretty busy. But look, it's certainly nice to have the level of interest and be able to get across the bigger picture story about the project and the district. So that's been nice, and that's been generally well received with all the discussions that I've had with various people over the last few weeks. And yeah, look, I mean, Charger is just that was particularly spectacular in that I've seen other very high gram meter intercepts before in other drill holes, but to have that sort of really consistently high grade is like nothing I've seen before. Without, generally I've seen things where there is a very high grade or a super high grade interval somewhere in there that's carrying a broader, much lower grade. So to see something like that was just quite incredible, and something we hoped we would get good things from Charger being a breccia system, but and that's why we continue to try and work out the geometry of how things are working, and we continue to the drilling we've got planned is continuing to give us that knowledge around that 3D geometry of that breccia system. And look, BBM's like a geologist's dream, Stephen. It's a what we would call a tabular ore body. We think we've delineated an initial plunging chute. We think there could be more. So it's something that is like quite in the scheme of things easier to framework out and start to build inventory, I guess, at a target like BBM as well. And yeah, really, I mean, since you guys came in May last year and we made the changes and became a ODNE focused or ODNE district focused company, it's been really nice to sort of come out of the end of last year saying, right, Awale is on good footing now. We're in really good standing. So to have BBM come through and then be followed up by that drill hole 83 at Charger is just particularly pleasing and rewarding.
Yeah, I following up on BBM, I remember when you first sent me that news release, and I looked around and I said, geez, it's not just that headline hole of 74 meters at 2.4 grams gold equivalent. There was there's 44 meters at 2.5, 40 meters at nearly 2. So there was like a fence, and I said, geez, that's starting to look like a real zone. That's starting to look like a mine. It's all shallow stuff there, and it's got 8 kilometers of strike, right? So I mean, there's plenty of room to grow, and it seems to be nice and continuous and thick zones near surface. Wonderful. So I mean, I was like, wow, okay, well, look, we're going to make some money on Awale here, is what I was thinking. And then, not too long after that, shifting gears back to Charger, I sat down with you, and you were grinning ear to ear, and you told me something like 1,500 gram meters, and it just didn't register. And so that obviously got excited, and that just sort of changed the game for Awale. That's what everybody's now looking at because it's a showstopper. It's certainly bar none the best hole I've ever been associated with, and in the list of best holes in the game over the past many years. So it's exceptional, and uh, but I also think it sort of masks what else is going on the ODNA. Not just BBM, not just Empire and Scepter and Lando, etc. This really is a district, and that's the approach that you took from day one. No, I don't think anybody really understood that, except for you, maybe. And I think the 99% are still trying to wrap their head around it. And I think that's a message we need to hammer home: is that this isn't just one hole. This is a brand new district. Obviously, West Africa has got elephants, gold elephants all around, but you view this geology as something different, and you've always referred to it as an IOCG, analogous to Carajás, etc. But there's a lot of moving parts here, right? There's a lot of different styles of geology, but you think it's all connected. So
Yeah,
simplify
absolutely.
that. Explain that to me like I know very little.
Yeah, I think, the simple way to put it is we have drilled multiple targets within that sort of 15 to 20 kilometer radius now, and what we see is mineralization manifesting in different ways depending on what that local geology is, but there is still an alteration and mineralization fingerprint that we can stitch them all together to say that they are all part of the same mineralizing system. And so with the greater picture in mind, the permits that we've got are actually directly on strike of what we think are major controlling structures as part of that district scale. And so we do believe that there's a lot of potential outside just we've only been really working in a 33 kilometer by 12 kilometer box. And when you get big systems like this, they don't tend to just happen in one little box. There is opportunity along strike, and 50 kilometers to the south, the sentiment discovery down there, it's all part of the same system. And so and then what we have is going further along towards the northwest. And so we just think that there's really fantastic opportunity in those 100% Awale properties that sit along strike from where we've made these discoveries, and these discoveries are adding weight to that district scale thesis that we've had for quite some time now.
So with that, just to sort of put some context around the size of the claims that we have, there's 7 claims that we have today, and maybe we're going to grow that. I know we're certainly buyers of land in the area, but to quantify it, it's about 2,500 square kilometers, which I Googled is about the size of Luxembourg. So it's
Yeah.
so not many people can wrap their heads around the size, but like that's Luxembourg is not huge, but it is in the context of an exploration project. So there's just, I think, as we said, I think as you said in the news release, we're just scratching the surface there. And I think it's important to know, a lot of questions you get, a lot of questions I get is about the joint venture in Newmont and the 2 claims. And I guess for clarity, we've got those 2 claims. All these discoveries are on the Newmont claims so far, which we expect them to take them to fruition, which will give us 25%. But to me, the whole upside for Awale, and really, I don't want to say the future, because the future is really 2 streams. One is developing the joint venture claims, which Newmont has funded, and obviously grateful for their partnership, and couldn't have done it without them, frankly. So they deserve their praise, and frankly, you convinced them. I mean, I think they're a tough cookie to convince on a new district, right? Because they need scale, and you went in there and you convinced them of exactly what you're starting to prove right now with these drill results. But going back to the real strategy behind Awale, if from my seat, is continue using Newmont's money on that joint venture to continue drilling out, which we're drilling right now. We've announced, or you've announced, drilling on Charger and BBM. And then really the future and the exciting upside is proving out this district on the 70% of the 2,500 square kilometers that are totally unencumbered or unencumbered, certainly on the joint venture. And that's where the future is. And you've got to get those projects up to snuff. Obviously, that doesn't happen overnight, but I think I would surmise that given what you've learned over the past number of years, so you know more about the system. And as well, I think most importantly, or maybe not most importantly, but certainly critically, is the fact that you're going to be less capital constrained given the success that you have. So what's the future on the unencumbered claims for Awale?
Yeah, so look, like you said, I guess we've developed quite a bit of sort of, I don't know, intellectual property or being able to leverage the money that we've spent of Newmont's to make these discoveries. So I guess we have a way about going out, a systematic way of going through our exploration, and we've sort of have a fairly good handle on what pathfinders are, we do a lot of technical word lithogeochemistry, but we try to map what the subsurface geology is from the geochemistry that we do as well, and so we understand what's important with that sort of technical work as well. But so those properties are very greenfields. They've never had any work done on them before. So we do need to fly geophysics, and we need to build that geochemical picture from broad scale or regional kind of targeting, and then coming into more strategic targeting for drilling. So I envisage that it would take we would start as quickly as we can, but you would need a field season to build targets and rate and rank them, and then be looking to drill them in later in 2025. When you start doing things like this, sometimes there is particular targets that just pop their head out and say we would drill those if they really look that good based on what we understand. If we got any early stage targets to drill, we would drill those earlier as well. But I think the key thing is, like, before Newmont came on board, Awale had drilled maybe the properties had never been drilled. So nothing. There'd been the only sort of tangible data I had, which wasn't data, they were just maps, geochemical maps that were from Randgold sampling, soil sampling in the mid-90s. And so, from that, we've actually taken that through to drill phase and made these discoveries. So I think there's proof in the fact that we know how to go about our business. But so that the amount that we've drilled 30,000 meters now, so about 8,000 pre-Newmont and 30,000 now. But that's in 300 holes, and that's what I mean by, I think, just scratching the surface, is that the average hole depth is still only 100 meters. So we really haven't drilled deep into the system yet either, and I think that's going to be particularly interesting as well. And from I mean, I never worked in the Carrias province, but from my discussions with Charles, who was on your technical team and sort of listened to the story and was very helpful in getting All Group and Orecap involved with Awale, was that Carrias really sort of opened up to being the province that it is when deeper drilling commenced. So I think there is just significant sort of upside from that perspective, and also the perspective of just starting to do that initial surface work on all those 100% Awale properties.
Good. Well, look, good work takes time and money and expertise, and that's something that Awale has at its disposal now more than it did ever before. And but in the meantime, we've got 25,000 meters announced for 2024. As I said before, we're drilling on Charger right now, and then we're expecting a second drill out on BBM shortly. That's sort of phase one of this year, but obviously lots more holes to go, lots more news flow. Um, uh, what's the future look like for these joint venture claims, time frame and focus as well?
Yeah, I think. Look, I mean, the way the program is planned at the moment is that the greater majority of the drilling is going towards BBM and Charger, but then we've got follow-up drilling planned for Scepter East, more drilling at Lando to try and understand what that is, because the initial work that we've done is not reflecting what that geochemical footprint is there at Lando, and so I guess the lesser part of the budget is going into pipeline targets, and the greater part of the budget is going into things that we do know. So that's how the drilling is split out for this year. And that's a $3.5 million budget for this year, and I'm sure that with continued success, there will be contingency as part of that $3.5 million budget as well.
And that's 3.5 million USD for our Canadian
Yes,
friends.
that's
Real
correct.
dollars, not
Yep.
Canadian money. But yeah, well, look, you got to press your bets on your winners, and Charger and BBM have been big winners. But I mean, look, you've had a winner on Scepter East that sort of has flown under the radar. What was it? Almost 360 meters at about 0.34 copper equivalent. You drilled that a year or two ago.
Yep.
Almost right from surface. I mean, that's a good looking
Yeah.
hole from which you can grow upon. So I mean, there's so much going. This system is very well endowed. It's
Yes,
just
absolutely. Um, there are multiple pipeline targets that we haven't even drill tested yet as well. So, but yeah, I mean that Scepter East has got huge volume potential, along with the the copper gold moly mineralization there is. So we're doing right now. We're not just drilling. We're doing some IP as well. So we've done some deep IP lines at Charger, which I hope to get the results from the geophysics team that we've contracted this week. They've just moved to BBM. We're doing an orientation survey at BBM, and that should be helpful in targeting on those potential satellites along that 8 kilometers of strike. And then there are additional deep IP lines planned for Scepter East, which should help us target a couple of deep holes into that Scepter East system.
good. Well, look, I'm so happy to hear that you're right back out there after those results came out. You didn't waste time. You're doing the hard yards, the work. We're drilling again. I'm excited for the news flow. I'm wishing you luck and congratulations. And on closing here, I got to say your timing was impeccable, Andrew. As we're getting into this, what looks like a legitimate bull market for not just gold and copper, which is testing $2,400 and maybe even 450 on copper, but just the whole metal suite. I mean, it feels like we're turning a corner. We've been waiting for it for a long term. But again, wonderful timing on your announcement, Andrew, and congratulations.
Yeah, look, thanks very much, Stephen. It's look, it's been a really nice journey since May, particularly. It's sort of nice to come out of all this, and the timing is it certainly puts a smile on your face. It's really good, and we just knuckle down and keep doing what we've been doing is basically what I've got in the back of my mind, and that's what the team is thinking as well. They're really buried in the geology like they always are, and so that's really good to see too.
Good. Well, good stuff. Thanks so much for your time, Andrew. I know you've got huge demands on it right now with the drill program, and everybody want a piece of your time. So I appreciate it on behalf of Orecap and certainly on behalf of Awale. I'm a very happy and long shareholder. So good luck.
Very much, Stephen. It's a pleasure to have a chat. Absolute pleasure.